Did you spend any time on the water this summer? I got a layout for you. Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another layout for our water trip to see the cliffs of Moher from the ocean. And this one is perfect for you if you are a water person. If you have spent your summer doing water adventures, either on a cruise ship or at a lake or in the ocean or, anything where you have been on a boat. And this uses the new boat punch that came out not too long ago as a gift with purchase, along with the Fairlife ribbon and a few other things. You could choose Boat Life or Fairlife, I think was the option. Anyway, so we're going to use that again, and we're also going to use the punches that we used in the last video, but I'm going to show you another way of laying out your photos and using those that hopefully is cute and fun, and we'll just give you a different spin on your aquatic adventures for the summer. Hopefully this is something that will help you out. And it is not a virtual crop. It is not a, this just came from my brain. So if it's similar to anyone else's, it's because we all have great ideas. But let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace. Today we're going to continue our journey, and you'll recognize this is the right side of the last layout that we did just on Wednesday. So we're going to continue using these same 3 punches that we used when we made this layout. More of these are on the other side if you didn't see that video yet. So we've got our vellum that we used last time. We've got our white cardstock, which we used last time. I've got another, this is a dotted Swiss paper I haven't gotten to use yet, and I thought it would be fun. It's because it's in that the general color scheme and kind of pulls the blue and the greens together, which I think is going to be good and helpful. This is from the St. Patrick's Day collection, from Simple Stories, and there's an item number I'll put in the description of the video in case you want to find this. It has this really cute cut apart on the back, so if you're looking for something super cute to go with a St. Patrick's Day or an Irish theme, these are super cute. The Kiss Me, I'm Irish, of course, and Keep Calm and Shamrock On, Catch a leprechaun on this day and he must give his gold away. That's kind of cute. Anyway, those are things I can't really use in my album, although I probably could incorporate them if I worked really hard, but I like this one though. A good friend is like a 4-leaf clover, hard to find, lucky to have. Irish proverb. Anyway, we're going to use this side today. And we're going to use these papers as our base page. I just think this is such a pretty ombre sheet that they put together. And this actually was in one of the, I want to say one of the Tone on Tone packs that we had. It was not part of any of the Irish themed paper packs at all. So I'll try to nail that down and give you those details in the description of the video also. But it might have been a totally tonal, but I'm not sure of that. So I'm just going to set the base pages aside and we'll get back to those shortly. We're going to use these papers for right now. And right now I'm just going to be creating a design to go across 2 pages, just a border that's going to go like from one page to the other. And so I've got permanent and repositionable CM adhesive out, and we're going to use these 3 punches again because we used them in the last layout and they worked super well. So I'm going to do something similar, but we're going to make it go all the way across the page instead of be limited. Okay, so we're going to do our bubbles in the vellum paper again. I really liked the way that worked. So we're going to just punch these real quick. All right, so all these little tiny dots can be kind of a pain, but they would be super cool in a shaker card. So that's why I am just sort of scooting them off to the edge so I can put them in my little jar and save them for another day. So you can see there were some hanger-oners. I think that's what they call those, hanger-oners. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do some bubbles in the white. And the white is going to be just to offset and sit behind the vellum so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so let me go ahead and get these into the trash. There we go. Okay, so now now we need to trim these off. So I'm going to grab my trimmer here real quick. And we're just going to bring these in here and we're going to trim them so that we can put that white behind to accent it. So we're going to try to make that even so that the difference here is the same as the difference down here. That's what I mean by even. We're going to try to make it straight. Let's see, let's make this 1.5 inches. So I'm going to scooch this so that the tops of those high bubbles are touching the 1.5 inch line. Okay, and that's where we're going to cut. Okay, so there's that. And we're going to turn this around and do the same thing on this side. Okay, there's our second one. Let's punch some boats. Hopefully you saw the border or the embellishment that I came up with for the layout we did last time, because I know that wasn't on camera. I'll show it to you in a minute here, just in case you missed it. Okay, so there's our boats. And I flip them around because they've got the boat heading that way, but I feel like the boat needs to be headed left to right so that, because that's the direction we are turning our pages in. So it kind of bugs me that the boat's headed backwards. So I just don't do it that way. And I'm only going to do 1 row of boats for right this minute, but we're going to do 2 rows of waves, and we'll see. I don't know if we'll use them all, but let's see. Oh, for those of you playing at home, my my littles have a brand new little sister. So super fun. We got to go and see her, even though I've not been feeling super great. And I didn't cough. until the very end of our visit. I felt so bad. But I didn't cough on the baby, so that's okay, I guess. But she's doing good, Mama's doing good, and life is good. So okay, we're going to punch 2 more, and we're going to use this dotted, my mom always called this a dotted Swiss pattern. I don't know if that's an official name or if that was just what she called it, but oh, I need to keep that so I can put that information on the website. I don't know, maybe it's a sewing term. Dotted Swiss. That might be a sewing term. All right. 2 more. Okay, I'm going to trim off these little notches real quick. Could do that with my trimmer, or I can just do that with my scissors and knock those off real quick. But I'm going to punch 1 more, and I'll show you the reason in just a second in case you missed it on the video, or possibly my editor may have removed it, which is fine. But just to show you why. Sorry, gonna save the waves, get rid of the extra stuff. Get that in the trash in a second. The very first one that I punched, I don't know if you can see this on camera very well, but I was in a little bit of a hurry, and so right here you can see that my punch didn't match up because I was in a little bit too much of a hurry. So when you punch, you just have to make sure that you're lining everything up, because if you don't line it up, that's when you get these little funky chunks in your border, and that may not be what you want. And if you're limited on the amount of paper you have that you're using, then you want to just, be sure you're punching with care. I wasn't punching with care, so I get to do it again and practice. That's better. Not perfect, but better. Okay. So let's see how we want to arrange these. So I'm going to get my Vellum adhesive out. Y'all know I keep it right here in my drawer because I just don't use it on anything but vellum, and I don't use vellum very often, so no sense in keeping it all the way out and on my desk and handy. Okay. And actually this time, rather than just having the accent at the top, I'm going to center this on here so that I have a little bit of white showing along the bottom edge of this also. little bit of white offset at the top, a little bit of white down here. And now, I think I said this yesterday, or last time, but when you use vellum adhesive, you need to burnish it in. And that's what makes that's the magic of the CM vellum adhesive. But when you've got it on a white background like this, it's very difficult to see anyway. But I'm going to burnish it in anyway, just so that I know it's well and stuck down, okay? And if you take a bone folder like this or something similar, you could use your multi-purpose tool. You could use a credit card, an old credit card, something hard, plastic that you can just rub across it. And if you're using a darker piece of vellum, that's when I have found it shows up more. Unless you burnish it. And by burnishing it, it helps it melt and disappear. Also, the heat of your hand can help that too. So rubbing your fingers over the top of it can also help to make it disappear. Okay, so we have the beginning of two cute little borders here. So let's take these two and let's see, I need to probably we're gonna cut this right here. So that makes a little more sense there on the end. Because I have this little teeny extra bit. That happens sometimes if the paper is just a little bit longer than it normally would be. Not a big deal. Okay, but I am going to try to make the cardstock from underneath match though. So just trimming that up. All right. Now last time we kind of went with a major difference like that with our offset of our water. This time we could make the water go a different direction. How would that be? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Look. It might be a little too busy. Whoops. Well, we can't make that part go the other way, so we better make all of it go the same direction. We could be a little more defined in it this time, though, and make it a little more like so. I think we'll go with that. So this is repositionable adhesive. I love it because the dots enable you to just go over open areas and then you just rub it and it comes right off. So if you haven't used our repositionable adhesive yet, oh man, is it a game changer. So nice. And the way I'm going to line this up is by looking at these points right here in the water. And if I can get those to be uniform, then the rest of the punch will follow suit. Pretty close. Pretty close. Close enough. A lot of people like to use their acrylic, or not acrylic, what are they? It's a special mat that we have for doing their adhesive on top of, so to keep the adhesive off of their workspace. And that is so awesome if you have one of those. I have one. I just rarely get it out because I'm trying to do this quickly, and it seems like it's never handy when I'm recording for some reason. But if you have one, I highly recommend them. They're awesome. Okay, so we could put our water in front of our waves. And then a boat, or we can put our wave in front of our water, our bubbles. Which I kind of like that effect better, the wave in front of the bubbles. I like that better. So I think we'll add the wave to the bubbles. Oh, wrong. That is vellum. I'm going to put that over there so I don't just grab that quickly. Because you all know how I operate. I just reach over and grab without looking, and then I'm in trouble. Okay. And I'm basically looking, for the height of this, I'm basically looking here at the waves to make sure that I can't see the base of the bubbles behind the wave. Okay. Don't worry, I'm not late for anything. I forgot to turn off an alarm that is routinely set, which is my bad. Sorry about that. All right, so we're going to get this one put on here about the same height. Awesome. Okay, now as far as these boats go, there was only one boat, and so I've been toying with the idea of, what if we just took one of these boats and cut it out? We could do that. I mean, it's possible you could put the whole border right in front of that. But I don't know that we need that. We just basically need one boat, because that's what we were on, was one boat. So I was thinking if I just followed the edge of the boat and trimmed it off like that. By the way, this is called the cruise ship punch. We were not on a cruise ship. We were on a tiny little ferry. Tiny. It wasn't super tiny, but it was a relatively small boat. Not a cruise ship. So, but this is the closest thing to a boat that I have a reference for. And I think we're going to add that and a few other things when we get this all put together. So I'm going to just hold off on the boat for a moment, and we're going to assemble some pages here real quick instead. Okay. So we're going to set these up here. Let's close this up and give us a bit more room. We're going to put these up here so that they are a little bit off the path. Okay, so we've got these two that are going to be our base sheets. There's a lot of green in these, and that's why I was saying I'm hoping that the the colors that are a part of this border are going to help bring together the blues that are in the pictures we're going to use, because there's so much green in the back. There is a little bit of blue in the back, so we could flip these around so that we see a little bit more of that, maybe. I don't know. We're not going to be able to see much of the gradient in this. I've already trimmed my photos and already sealed my peekaboo pocket to shorten it. So those of you who may not have read the comments, Cynthia, who's been watching my channel for a really long time, commented that she was wondering what tool I use to adjust my peekaboo pockets when I need to, because she said she doesn't have one, I think, if I remember correctly. Don't hold me to that, Cynthia. I'm sorry if I'm getting the story wrong. But I think she was expecting that there was a fancy tool that I use to do that. And I know there are fancy tools out there that some of you do have and use, but I don't have anything fancy. If you were watching my channel a little bit ago, like a few weeks back, I discovered that most of my pictures that are 5 1/4 by 4 that I was needing to put into peekaboo pockets was really frustrating me that they didn't fit properly. And I lamented to my husband about the fact that they didn't fit properly, and he said, well, just shrink them down, or just, seal them. And I said, well, I don't have the proper tool to do that. I know there are tools like that. I just have never gotten any. Even when we discussed it, the last time it came up, I didn't go rush out and buy a tool. And he said, well, what if we just use the sealer that we have upstairs? And I was like, we have a sealer upstairs? What do you mean? He went and got our Seal-A-Meal. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a vacuum sealer that is marketed for use in the kitchen for sealing food and vacuuming the air out of the bag and sealing the food for putting in the freezer or waiting to use later. And he brought it downstairs and we played with it, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. All you need to do is identify where the line is that it's going to seal at on the sealing area, because it's kind of ambiguous. There's not like arrows that say this is where it will seal. You have to kind of figure that out. But once you figure that out, you could mark it with a Sharpie marker if you wanted to, draw the line in or something, and then it's a simple matter of putting your photo into the peekaboo pocket and taking it over to the Seal-A-Meal and turning it, placing it on there, closing it down, pushing the buttons, and the buttons automatically stop when it doesn't need to seal any longer. And you take it out and it's sealed, and all you do is trim it. Be careful though when you're trimming. Don't trim too close. If you trim too close, then you cut the seal right off. But most of the time it's very quick and easy. I highly recommend. Again, not a CM product, but still definitely a fun, quick thing. Now, you'll notice I've got, this one's an odd size, right? Of the peekaboo pockets that I've got already set up, I've got 4x6s. I've got 4x6s that I've adjusted into something smaller. I've got, these are 4x6s over here. This one is a 4x8 that I adjusted. So it's a little bit smaller than 4x8. If you're scratching your head saying 4x8, I've never seen a 4x8, and you're probably you know, online right now going, wait, they don't have a 4x8. You're right. They don't currently have a 4x8. The 4x8s were sold in a special pack a while ago. And so if you need something this size, I highly encourage you to go to CM Product Suggestions at creativememories.com and tell them that you would really like to see 8-inch peekaboo pockets. And hopefully we'll get them added to the line if enough people request that. They definitely came in handy for these photos. These photos, many of them, these and this one and this one, are collage photos where I had more than one picture of the same area, and I was able to add them together onto each other to create a more complete picture of the landscape. And so that's where we get the odd measurements, the 4 inches by, 10 or 9 or whatever it ends up being. And this one, I think this one I was going to put together similar to the ones we did last time, and then just create some sort of journal area underneath it right here, so that we would have that. Or we could, I really like this picture of my son just sort of looking out at the water. So I think we'll do that. Let's go ahead and we'll do that. So I'm going to take the adhesive off of this little flap. It's a cellophane or a white tab. You can see on these, the newer ones have a white tab similar to like the piece that you peel off of a Band-Aid, because I think they've gotten a lot of negative feedback about this cellophane strip, because this is the most annoying thing ever. I just have to, you guys have heard me lament about that before. We won't go into it again. But the static cling from those is awful. So they're moving away from that. Woohoo! That's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so I'm just matching up the adhesive folded end with the peekaboo that's going to go underneath it. And then this peekaboo right here is the one that will get adhered to the page on here eventually. And I'll be able to journal underneath there. I think this is the only other one that will have anything like that. So we've got this one, and this one has that paper like a Band-Aid at the bottom, or on the adhesive edge. Okay, so much easier to see where it is, much easier to take off, doesn't stick to you. It's all good, right? Okay, then we're going to add the folded edge. This is the folded edge with the adhesive on the back. Adhesive folded to the back. And I'm going to just make those edges match. And stick that down. Okay, so I think is, I'm not sure actually how to say that. But we didn't get to go to this. We were looking forward to possibly doing this. They had birds of prey there, which my dad was really into, and cheese making, which would have been a super fun thing to do and to watch and to learn more about. But we weren't able to work that into our tour. But we did pass by the sign, so my mom or someone in our group took a picture of the sign. And this is the destination sign that we were following. Here you can see the cliffs of Moher, you can see the burn. The burn is where we're going to be heading soon. So the burn was a nature sanctuary, and you'll find out more about that in coming videos. But while we were traveling, we happened upon this farmer who was hauling a bunch of branches and stuff. And I don't know, we just thought that was cool beans, and somebody took his picture. So he's in the scrapbook. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I think these are where they need to be, but let's, guys, I finally went and got some medicine today. Other medicine, not just Robitussin. So hopefully I will be doing much better the next time you hear from me. But this is going to fit right in here, and I think the photos will just go down on top of it if they need to. So I'm going to go ahead and let's do a little bit of measuring so we know where that's going to go. So the base of this is going to be at roughly 6 inches, roughly the half mark on the page. And we want a larger space below, smaller space above, because we have our horizontal pictures above where we have vertical pictures below. So we need more space there. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to get some more adhesive put on here. I'm going to not do that over my photos for the area with the holes. And then that way we can get this put in the right spot. Let's make sure it's just doesn't look like it is straight to me. There, that's better. Okay. So now I'm gonna go right there, like so. This guy, rather than going over my cute little border, I'm going to tuck him in underneath. Otherwise, we can't see the pretty border as well. So we'll do the same thing with this guy. Okay, this one's not going to get glued down because we're going to journal here and then adhere that to the peekaboo pocket. Adhere it to the page protector. Goodness. It's my cold talking. Sorry. Okay, normally I would put this photo closer to this edge over here, but I'm just needing to make sure I've got plenty of room for that peekaboo pocket. So I think it's okay. I just shifted it just a little bit to the left. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with this page. Let me line up this paper. And then we're going to get this border put down. Let's use this one. Okay, so we're going to find the 6-inch mark, which is right there, and line this up just like we lined up the other one, so that the border will be consistent all the way across the layout. There's a couple ways you could do this. You could swap these and put these up here, put the horizontal pictures down here, and then you have, you know, one border here and one border a little lower on this side. But I just thought it would be kind of cool to try to put them both in the same place. And it didn't disturb the order of my photos that much, so it worked. Okay. And then this one we're going to just center so that the peekaboo pocket that's going to go over the top will just be right on top and have plenty of room to be centered over the top of this one. Just like so. Okay, so like that. There's Heidi. You don't get to see Heidi very much. She doesn't show up in pictures very often. It's almost like she hides from the camera a little bit, which is okay. We don't all have to enjoy being in front of the camera. But every now and then we got a picture of her because she was there. So we need to make sure that she's in the pictures, right? Right. All right, so now our boat, we're going to pop our boat up with some foam squares, I think. So let's see. I think we could use these little guys. And we could use a squidgy one that we cut for the bow up there. And we need probably something for these guys. So I'm going to grab my precision point scissors and cut another one. So I don't know if you do this when you are using your foam squares, but sometimes I come in here and I just trim them to the size that I need them to be because I want something to pop up, but I don't necessarily have a peekaboo, or I'm sorry, a foam square that will fit into this space. Okay, so there's our little boat. And we're going to have him be kind of in the middle of that choppy sea. But then we're going to come in here with our waves, and we're going to flip them around and add kind of a little bit of a wake behind the boat with those waves. And we can use a little foam square to pop that up. Just to add a little bit of dimension to that. And the number of these that you add on is completely up to you. But they just kind of give a little more oomph to your layout. Without being over the top, you know? Excuse me. You'll notice I'm giving a little more space between the waves that I'm adding the further away from the boat we're getting. Which I think is okay. What I'm wondering is if we shouldn't add one kind of a little more on top of itself right there. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll do like that. Okay. Let's take these off. Fun with foam squares today. I don't think that's going to be the title of this layout, but it could be. Fun with foam squares. All right, so we've got our cute boat with our water and our cute little wake behind the boat. I think that's all I'm going to do on this one, but if I decide that I'm going to add something, I will let you know next time. But I think that's where it's going to land for us for today. Let me know what you think. Do you use foam squares in your layouts? Have you tried layering your punches like we've been layering our punches this week? Let me know. I'd be curious to know what you've layered together. If it's more than just the same shape on top of another punch of the same shape, I'd love to know what you're layering together. That would be awesome. And don't forget, you can go to my Facebook page and you can post pictures of this layout, I will add a link in my Facebook group so that you can go on in there and post a picture of a border that you have layered and share that with everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this has been helpful, and it's gotten me one layout closer to being done with Ireland, so I'm excited. And I just really kind of like the way the bubbles and the waves look together, so it works for me. Thanks so much. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Enjoy your day.